My name is Danny, and my son's name is Carter. He is 6 years old, and for the past 2 years, I've watched him die every single day. I've lost all faith in the man above who is supposed to protect people like my son. He doesn't deserve this, but I do. A year after my son was born, I stole him from his mother, and we went on the run. I changed both of our names, and we haven't looked back since. I guess you can call this karma, but my son shouldn't be punished for my crimes. He's been in a hospital for the last 2 years, and every day I wake up to him dying. The doctors come in every day and revive him, and after 5 minutes, he's back again. It's gotten to the point that when I hear the machine go off, I don't even get scared, because I know the same thing will be happening. He will be dying, the doctors come in and bring him back to life, and it starts again the next day. The doctors don't understand what's happening, but instead of praying to God himself, I think I'd rather make a deal with the devil to take my life and save my son's life instead. It's almost around that time that my son is going to die, so I'll be back after the doctors revive him. It's been about 6 hours since the last time I wrote in this journal, and my son hasn't died yet. I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but the doctors are taking a blood sample to check. Today was the first day I didn't pray to God, but it was the first day I prayed for the devil to take my life and save my son. I think my prayer to the devil is about to work. My son, he's awake, and I think it's time for me to go meet the devil. I guess this is goodbye. This is the last note from Danny. Hello, my name is Danny. Let's just say that the devil has come through on his promise, and I now serve him as my leader. And my first assignment is to bring Carter with me to the hell gates. I stole an injection of drugs that will kill Carter, and I will have him meet our leader, Satan. This is my suicide note. The news article posted the deaths the next day. Carter died at the age of 6 and Danny died at the age of 29. The police did a short investigation and it was determined to be a murder-suicide. The following day, when they did an autopsy, it was shown that after he stabbed his son with the injection, he took out a pocket knife and carved in his son an upside-down cross. I live on a little farm in the Netherlands. I lived here all my life for the last 17 years I've been alive. I was born and raised here literally, like my mom gave birth to me here. I'm homeschooled, so I don't have a lot of ways to talk to the outside world besides my family and the local townspeople. It's only been about 2 years since I've actually gotten technology and I can communicate to the outside world. On the farm that I live on, it's been passed down from generation to generation to generation and so on. This is where eventually my kids will grow up and their kids will grow up. The land that we live on has always been a very quiet land. No one comes around this area because it's about an hour outside of the nearest town. There's just a bunch of woods around us. Of course, with a bunch of woods and a huge plot of land, there's always a creepy story you're told as a child to scare you by an older sibling. But unfortunately, this one is true. The Weeping Boy. Legend has it that a man went insane in the 1700s and took his son out to the woods and took a rock and smashed his head and killed him. And then afterwards he went on the run and his body was found 2 weeks later after it was clear he starved to death, and his body was pretty much gone from all the animals slowly eating him away. Every once in a while you can hear a little boy screaming in the woods. We all say to each other, "There's little Flores again." We've always heard it, so we've kind of gotten used to it. We went out searching a few times, but nothing popped up. It's a very sad story, and every year some of the townspeople bring some toys to show their respects to Flores and leave it at his gravestone. I just wanted to say rest in peace to Flores. We also leave some stuff for him every single year on his birthday. My name is Anthony. I'm 18 years old. I live in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. I lived in the same house with my mom and my dad all my life. I just graduated high school and I go to a community college close by. A few years ago, we got new neighbors. They're really nice, but their son, well, that's a different case. He's a little on the weird side, which wouldn't be a problem if he didn't do something really weird and gross. I've only stepped foot in their house one time and I don't plan on going back, and I suggest everybody else don't even come close to their house. At least once a week, I see him go home with a bag of roadkill. One day I let my curiosity get the best of me and I went over to his house and I rang the doorbell. He answered. His name is Nathan and he's 17 years old. I said hello and he just stared at me. He didn't really say anything. The conversation kind of went like this. Hi, I'm Anthony and I'm your next door neighbor. I don't think we've actually met before. I've met your parents, but not you formally. He was super awkward. Like he was looking around, trying not to seem weird, but it was too late. I finally broke the silence. I was like, so look, dude, honestly, I see you come in your house every single week with a bag of roadkill. Like, what's up? Like, what are you doing? I questioned him and then it really got quiet. Do you want to see? He finally spoke up and said something. Like I said before, my curiosity got the best of me and I should have never let that happen. But I said, sure. I walked into their house. They have a really nice home, honestly. And we walked up to his room and that is where the story gets a little more weird. I walked in after him and he closed the door behind us. He went to his bed and grabbed the bag. Before I continued to the, drinking blood part, you know how I said the kid is weird? Well, yeah. I don't think they've come up with a word to describe just how weird this kid actually is. His room is all black with one poster up on the wall with an anime girl on it. Anyway, yeah, just really weird. Back to the story. He went to his bed and grabbed the bag and opened it and pulled out a dead squirrel. He took it and opened up his mouth to look at his teeth. Even Jeffrey Dahmer would think it's weird. He finally went to his drawer and opened it and grabbed out a giant butcher knife out of the drawer. That's when I started to step back just a little bit. He took the squirrel and put it on his desk with some plastic and made sure he covered up his entire desk and floor and his chair. He then cut off the squirrel's head right in front of me. He ran over and grabbed a cup, put the squirrel upside down and started getting blood in the glass until it was about halfway full. And then finally the blood stopped. He looked at me. You want some? I opened his door and I ran as fast as I possibly could out of his house and ran back to mine and locked the door. I told my parents and they went over to talk to his parents. A few weeks later, the cop showed up to his house and he came out of his house with handcuffs on. He was arrested for animal abuse. He apparently stole someone's cat and chopped it up into pieces and drank the blood afterwards. The owner called the cops and he was arrested. I haven't seen him since. But honestly, I'm really hoping that he's getting the help that he actually needs, because that kid definitely has some issues. So this happened to me and several other kids in my neighborhood when I was 7 years old. Let's just say 1 month later, we left and never looked back. There was a man who lived on the street corner. His name was Michael, but everyone called him the local pervert. He would break into people's homes and hide underneath their beds so he could, in his words, watch them sleep to protect them from the demons. Yes, very fucking creepy. A lot of you will probably know where this story is heading, but you honestly don't. So when I was 7 years old, I was told by one of my friends, let's call him Randy, to check under my bed for the local pervert. At that time, I was getting really scared that I would eventually see Michael, but every time I checked under my bed, there was nothing. So finally, after checking under my bed for a week straight, I gave up and forgot about it. 1 month later, I just took my bath and I put on my pajamas, and of course I didn't check under my bed as I haven't done that in about a month. I turned on my nightlight and slowly started to fall asleep. It was quiet like it usually was, but then I heard it. The sound of breathing. This was before phones existed, so I couldn't just text my mom or anything. I slowly got on my knees on my bed and slowly looked under my bed. And there he was. No, it wasn't Michael. His name is Larry. He was a known pedophile around my town. I screamed so loud that I thought people in Japan could hear me. My dad ran in with a baseball bat and drugged him out. Let's just say Larry won't be moving his legs anytime soon. That's not where the story ends though. After we moved, I found out that Michael was a normal person before he met Larry. Larry did the same thing to Michael. He hid under his bed and waited for Michael to fall asleep, and Michael was assaulted. So that's why he breaks into people's homes and watches them while they sleep to scare away the demons, aka scare away Larry, the actual pedophile. I do feel bad for Michael now that I know the actual story, and it could have happened to me if my dad wasn't there. I have no idea what happened to Michael or Larry, but hopefully Larry is somewhere 6 feet in the ground, and I'm hoping Michael gets the help that he needs. Okay, so this is a short but crazy story. It's 100% true, and honestly, I don't care what you guys think, because I know what I saw. I'm 26 years old, and I've always been an introvert, but one thing I've always done growing up was adventuring through the woods and forest. Any chance I got, I would try to go out into the woods by myself and just explore. Since I've grown up and have my own money and vehicle, etc., I've gotten the chance to go through the entire United States, visiting every forest and patch of woods I can find. This story takes place in Kentucky at the Daniel Boone National Forest. I was venturing out pretty deep in the woods, but I always leave some kind of trail to get out, so I wasn't too worried. As I was making my way through the thick brush, I noticed it was starting to get really dark, which is really weird since it was May when this took place, and it was only like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. But I kept moving forward anyway, when I noticed that all around me, it was deadly quiet, like no sound whatsoever. I couldn't even hear the leaves moving in the wind. As I was looking around me, wondering if there was some kind of animal or something that made everything so quiet, I stopped completely in my tracks, and I looked all around me, and there was an opening in the brush, and in the opening, I saw this little girl standing there, all by herself. She was looking down, facing away from me. I shouted to her, "Hey, do you need any help?" As I waited for a response, I heard something moving behind me, and I turned around quickly as I saw nothing. I looked back at the spot where I saw the girl, and she was facing me now. She then started to float in the air. I can tell you right now that my heartbeat stopped for like 10 seconds. I thought I was about to have a heart attack. As she was floating in the air, she started to glow in a blinding light that made me look away. And as I looked back a half second later, she was gone. If anyone is local to the Winchester, Kentucky area, let me know if you've ever seen anything like this. This was the scariest but most amazing thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys would like more top 5s or even top 10s, please let me know in the comments below. If you guys can do me a huge favor, hit that like button and subscribe if you have not already. I really would appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next one.